Welcome to the Pickup Korea podcast, and today I would like to share some recent stories from clients and others who recently bought the Pickup Korea FAQ cheat sheet. Already looks like it's doing well, and there's people who are already applying the tips really within a short time, including some hard case newbies that I personally know and already seeing results from it. So that's always, if anything, I have enough success in this area. There's always room for improvement, of course, but to see clients and other people apply the tips and get success in their own life is really more even satisfying than my results. So one recent story that was really, really interesting is it's a guy that I know. He's a very hard case newbie. He really has not taken any action for the past 3 months or 4 months, even, maybe even more than that, and recently picked up the Pickup Korea FAQ cheat sheet, which you can buy now for really only $9.99 on pickupkorea.com. But he ended up buying it because he was telling me how he wants to go out and he wants a little bit of a guide he can look at while he goes out and a little reminder and a little motivation. So he ended up picking it up, and the next day, or perhaps it might have been 2 days later, he went out to a bar. This is here last week. And it was actually in another city about 20 to 30 minutes outside of Seoul in Gyeonggi-do province. And this is his first time actually cold approaching or talking to girls out in a bar. And literally, after reading the cheat sheet, the first approach, he ends up talking to a girl who is with her friends, and she ends up some other guys at his table, some of his friends who are, they're not pickup guys or game guys, just normal friends of his. They're all interested in this girl apparently. So he there's like friends of friends and people that he doesn't know very well or just saw the first time, and some of those guys on his table are trying to talk to the girl that he's talking to, and one of them ends up kind of succeeding, talking with her for a while, even suggests leaving the venue and going back to Seoul together. And he sort of diffuses the situation, moves her around the venue, applying the tips that he learned, and he actually ends up dealing with all the situations that pop up, including a guy, friend of a friend, trying to cock block him and talk to the girl that he approached. And then he finally, using a couple of the tips literally from the book he just read and went out, he ends up pulling her out of the venue, all the way from that city to Seoul, all the way to his house and closing that same day. And so, let's just say that this guy, it's easy to say, oh, he probably has been doing this for years or he has a lot of success already. No, that's not true. I know him pretty well personally. And, a lot of other guys will say, oh, he must be good looking and tall. No, he's really short. Could even be considered a dwarf in some countries, very, very short. Let's just say, below 165. That'll get you a good idea. And so, yeah, it wasn't the looks, it wasn't his full head of hair, because he, at the prime age of 28, he's experiencing male baldness, which, hey, over here I am as well. Not this is not a bash on the guy, but just to sort of defuse all these excuses and people who say it's all about looks and all about this or that money, and this guy does not have looks, he does not have money, he does not have height. He is also not going out consistently, although he's planning to from here on out. But really just a few efficient, simple, applicable tips that I include in the Pickup Korea FAQ cheat sheet, and that I personally use myself. Just a few simple tips can really skyrocket results. I've seen it over and over again, where just a few small adjustments can really change quite a lot. And so, that being said, over here I'm doing the same thing. A lot of people are complaining about COVID-19 and, oh no, masks, and I don't know if she's hot or not, and all these stupid excuses. And in reality, if you walk outside right now, it's just full of beautiful girls walking around. The weather's warmed up. You see a lot of skirts, a lot of sexy attire. The streets are more flooded than ever in all the major areas in Seoul. Bars and those kind of venues, even clubs, are now open until 10 p.m. So there are people, out pretty early, which can even be more ideal in many ways because instead of staying out till 3, 4, 5, 6 a.m. like it's typical in Korea if you're going out for nightlife, and now you can actually go out early. You can go out at 7 or 8 or 9. I even went out the other day, very late, like 9:30, right before everything closes. End up pulling the first approach as well. And just to clarify something, this is not like it happens every time where I approach one girl. It happens sometimes, rarely. It happens here and there, but more often than not, it's, several approaches and a lot of approaches. But here and there, when you're applying the right things and you hit up the right situation, you can, and you know what to do. Most importantly, you can make it happen within a short time frame. And so, yeah, I included, as you can see while you're listening to this is the first time ever that I included some footage outside, out and about here in Seoul, just to show you that if you're really not out maximizing your opportunities and applying tips from this ebook, or you can try it on your own. I mean, you can definitely go out on your own and learn on your own, but why not shortcut so much headache and frustration and wasted time, and really, even if you just get 1, 2, 3 useful tips that lead to a date or get you a lay or a new girlfriend, a new reg. I mean, was that not worth $10 of your time and of your money, and very little of your time as well? So, as you can see, the streets here are full, flooded, attractive girls walking around waiting to be approached. It's spring in the air. I recently closed some girls, and they're telling me how they feel like spring's in the air, and they're really wanting to meet guys, and they're just excited really to even thanked me for approaching, and we're very happy about the whole experience. And yeah, actually, that being said, even some of them are saying Korean guys are out approaching them, and one girl recently says she gets approached 2 to 3 times a day here by Korean guys, even though it's COVID and all this horse shit. So you should be out there doing the same thing, right? If you want to get anything out of your day, anything out of your dating life. And so, here's another thing. Another real common complaint is the whole mask thing, right? And so, really, now that the weather's better, it's not a guessing game anymore. You can see the girl's body, you can see her legs, you can see her figure, you can see her hair, her makeup, and generally speaking, if you're talking to her long enough, you can even pull down your mask, like, hey, this thing's getting a little bit stuffy. You can say, let's pull off our masks for a second. That's a little compliance test, if anything. Let's move over there and chat. Let's take this off real quick. And so there are ways around it, obviously, right? And so just looking for creative solutions rather than the next excuse is what's really going to help you out. And so I did get an email recently, and yeah, I'm really happy that a lot of guys are out there, at least trying to approach these days. It's starting to increase, but there's so many others that are not. And I did get a few emails from people who are interested in the ebook, but they kind of want to know a little bit more about what kind of content, what kind of questions are included in it, and a little bit more about a sneak peek inside of it. And so, yeah, so here I can go over a few of the things which are really, really common. In fact, I think every single client I ever coach, that's why it's called the Pickup Korea FAQ, Frequently Asked Questions Cheat Sheet, is because literally these are the frequently asked questions that pretty much every single client I've ever coached, has personally asked me. And on top of that, not even clients I coached, friends, anyone, people that attended my seminars, people that are interested in programs, they ask the same questions over and over again. And so it's pretty fair to say that you, as a listener, as a guy who is out there trying to improve his dating life, probably asked yourself many, if not all of these questions while you're out and about approaching, dating, and so on. And so Um, a really simple one and a really, really, really common one right here is what if she's on the phone or has earphones on? So I hear this, man, I feel like I hear this every day, to be honest. And so that is a question that I answer in detail, very simply, that gives you an instant solution. Um, Other ones that guys really ask a lot. Um, this is a very, very, very common one. Um, how do I bounce her home from the date venue? Right? And so a lot of guys, they'll go on these dates that just last forever and ever and ever 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, multiple venues. And then it's okay, that was fun. And then they never see them again. Or maybe they do see them again and it's like, oh yeah, we're just friends, or I need more time. And they go on this time wasting, leaf in the wind style interactions and dates. And so here I really give a longer answer that delineates how to bounce them from a venue to your place, um, with a very simple approach that works consistently. I mean, really, with clients that I've coached, even the hard case newbies, using this Korea method, I guess you would call it, end up getting 80, 90% of girls home. And so compared to previously, 0 to 10%. I mean, yeah. So that tip alone would be worth quite a bit of your money or time. But here we're offering it for $9.99, so you got to consider that. Another one is, another one that would be worth mentioning here would be, what are good date venues? And so this is also a common question. And once again, this answer is probably not even what you're thinking, really. I mean, most of the people that ask me this question, I in turn return the answer with, what do you think is a good date venue? Because it is important to see, or to be self-reflective, self-aware of your thought process, what and why you think what you think. And so oftentimes I get these expensive lounges and expensive rooftop bars and very expensive restaurants, or fancy this, fancy that, yada, yada, yada. And conversely, these same guys are the ones not getting laid, not getting girlfriends, not getting, dates that are successful. And so, oddly enough, right? And so, yeah, this answer of this question really sort of closes that whole debate off. Also, just in general about texting, that's another thing that comes up a lot. What kind of content should I send in my text? So one thing that I do in the immersion program is I review your text every day. We go over it, we troubleshoot them, we brainstorm, we get you working with the funnel. And so here, this is a very common question, and this is something that if you are indeed doing what a lot of guys are doing, you're probably not getting a lot of dates due to certain behaviors. And so this section, in fact, the whole section on texting, in fact, cover what not to do in texts, what you should do in texts, and how to get her out on a date via text, how to mitigate flakes, which I'm sure you're experiencing a lot of, how to mitigate flakes, which, we want to meet these girls. We don't want to be setting up dates to nowhere, right? Which a lot of guys do. And I was there myself, so I can totally relate with it. And, when should you send the first text? Even this one is very common. How many texts should I send before inviting her out on the date? And so, I mean, if these are just things you're wondering alone, then I'll give you the opportunity. I'm going to post the link here in the YouTube video. And you can pick this up right now for $9.99. And everyone who's purchased the book, as I mentioned, there are new questions incoming. And so it will be expanded, probably even several pages within the next several months. And if you purchase it now, you're going to get the second edition for free. And the second edition will go up in price because it's going to be longer. It's going to have more questions covered. And so if you want to get on this first edition, which can cover your issues now, and the second edition, which might have information that you asked personally, or that you might have wondered or might be relevant to you at the time. If you want to capitalize on that, then you're going to want to pick this up today. And so, as you can see, walking around, um, just beautiful day, a lot of girls out waiting to be approached. It's really about whether you're going to make an excuse today or embrace a solution. Get what you deserve, get what you're after if you take action. And yeah, until next time, Keith are signing out. Oh, I got actually a pretty decent amount of people, to be honest.
Most of the foot traffic is on the other side, past the intersection, not this
Towards,
side.
yeah, it's more over there.
Up that way, there's way less people.
Right. More down there.
Hey, there's one right down there for you. Oh yeah,
There we go.
not the guy.
No, I got the girl. Yeah. Honestly, it doesn't need to be tons of girls. It just needs to be enough. And I already got a lot.
Dude, you
I
want
already
to know
got a lot.
something freaky? Absolutely freaky. I see 3 blue cars in my field of view right now.
Oh,
And
that
for
is weird.
Korea, that never fucking happens.
That is weird.
And a red car. What the fuck? Apparently, we're living in wacky, zany, weird fucking country.
Alternative reality.
Alternative reality where Koreans have colors to their cars other than black, silver, gray, white.
Black, silver, gray. Mostly silver.
That's all they got.
Mostly
Man.
black, mostly
Black,
white.
silver,
Yeah.
gray, and white. I mean, a red one? Okay, sure. I see a red car now, but the blue car? Oh my god. 3 of them? 3?
Very rare.
No
Yeah.
way. No way.
All
I
right.
think we're living in another dimension, some kind of alternate reality.
Come on. Yeah, that is rare. Although they're probably all friends. They're all like